Okay, let's jump right in. What if you could sell your house and get your full asking price? I mean, no haggling, no back and forth. We're diving into a document that puts a pretty modern spin on an old idea: seller financing. Now, I know that's a term that makes a lot of homeowners nervous, but what if the old rules just don't apply anymore?
Yeah, I see you. Did that term seller financing make you flinch a little? You are not alone, for sure. The whole idea of you basically becoming the bank for the person buying your house, it sounds like a massive headache waiting to happen, right? So let's unpack exactly why it has that reputation.
Well, it usually comes down to these classic problems. You start picturing it. You're the one chasing down monthly payments, you're buried under a mountain of paperwork, and maybe the most daunting part, you're financially chained to this house for 15, 20, even 30 years after you've already moved out. That's a huge, long-term commitment with a lot of potential what-ifs.
But, and this is a big but, the document we're looking at today makes this really bold claim right up front. It basically argues that everything we think we know about seller financing is completely outdated. So that begs the question, right? If that's the old way, what on earth is the new way?
And here it is. The source calls it temporary seller financing. Just look at the name. That word temporary is a direct shot at one of the biggest fears we just talked about, that long 30-year commitment. This is positioned as something totally different.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting when you see it side by side. Instead of you collecting payments, a third-party company handles all of that. Instead of a 30-year note, the entire deal is wrapped up in 12 years or less. And here's the real kicker. Forget about those annoying lowball offers. The promise here is that the buyer pays your full asking price.
A third party collects the money, you get your full asking price. Sounds pretty great, doesn't it? But the big question is, how do you actually get paid? Well, the document lays it out in a clear three-phase payout structure.
First, you get a chunk of cash right up front at the close of escrow, so you're not walking away from the table empty-handed. Second, you get those steady monthly payments, but remember, they're handed by a servicing company, not you. And third, you get the rest of your money all at once in one big final payment.
And this right here really drives home that temporary part of the name. The whole shebang, from that first check to the final payout, is designed to be over and done with in a maximum of 12 years. I mean, that is a world away from those 30-year notes we associate with traditional seller financing.
So, let's talk about this balloon payment, because it's absolutely crucial. It's not just the last payment in a series, it's the big finale that ties everything up. According to the source, the homebuyer has to either refinance the house with a normal bank or sell the property to come up with the cash to pay you, the original owner, off completely.
Now let's shift gears to what is arguably the most attractive part of this whole proposal, that promise of getting your full asking price with zero negotiation.
100%, that's the number the source is putting forward. The entire claim is that this structure is specifically built to eliminate the frustrating problem of lowball offers, making sure the seller walks away with the exact price they wanted for their home.
So you have to wonder, why would a buyer agree to the full price? Well, the document suggests this method attracts a very specific kind of buyer. Maybe it's someone who can't qualify for a traditional mortgage right away, but is described as ready, willing, and able to meet the seller's terms. It's really about finding a different pool of buyers who see this as a unique opportunity. Of course, an offer that sounds this good usually comes with some conditions, so let's take a look at the important fine print here to get the full picture. And here is the biggest one. For a homeowner to get that promised 100% of their asking price, the source says the home has to be owned, free, and clear. In simple terms, that means you can't have an existing mortgage on the property. It has to be paid off.
It's also really helpful to see who does what in this whole process. The document identifies a few key players. You've got Kevin Young Sr., the seller finance specialist who structures the deal. You have that third-party servicer who's basically the middleman for the payments. And of course, you've got the homeowner whose main goal is just getting their full price.
Now, to be perfectly clear, the document also lists what this specialist is not. He's not a real estate agent or broker, he's not a mortgage broker, and he is not giving you any kind of legal or financial advice. His role is stated to be very specific, just to structure this type of temporary seller finance transaction.
So, when you put it all together, what are we really looking at? This document is essentially a playbook. It's a system designed to take that old, intimidating idea of seller financing and repackage it to be shorter,
more hands-off, and, because of that full-price promise, potentially more profitable for a very specific type of seller, one who owns their home outright.
So there you have it. That's the proposal. It aims to get rid of the biggest headaches of a traditional sale: the haggling, the long-term financial ties, the paperwork. And it leaves us with one big question at the end of the day. For the right homeowner, the one with no mortgage, could this actually be the new playbook for selling a home?